What's up, gamer? My name's Luco, and recently Diablo 4's developers held a Campfire chat to discuss in detail some of the changes coming to the game with the Vessel of Hatred expansion in October. The stream went for over 2 hours, and there was a lot of information given out, so in this video I'll be explaining the most major changes that were announced, and I'll leave a link in the description to a blog post from the devs that explains more specific things like class balance in finer detail. First things first, the progression system is getting a total overhaul. Instead of 100 character levels with 50 skill points and 200 Paragon points, the level cap in Vessel of Hatred will be lowered to 60, and each of those levels will give a point for your class's skill tree, meaning you'll have 10 more points to spend on your skill tree than you did before the expansion. After hitting 60, you'll start earning Paragon points that function the same way they always have, but now instead of 200, the maximum is 300. What's more, Paragon points are shared between all characters in the same realm, so when you unlock a Paragon point on one character in Hardcore or whatever realm you play in, all of your other characters in that same realm will get the point as well. This makes it much less of a grind to get alts up and running. Even though your alternate characters will have the Paragon points unlocked, you won't actually be able to use them until that character hits level 60, so you can't just like fly through the early game at level 1 with 300 Paragon points. Finally, to limit people from taking every single Paragon board for maximum glyphs with all the extra points, there is now a maximum of 5 boards for each character. To go along with the new leveling system, the difficulty system is getting overhauled as well. Instead of the current world tiers, the game will be moving to something much more similar to the way difficulties worked in Diablo 3. There will be normal, hard, expert, and penitent difficulties, which are all available from level 1, and then beyond that, in the endgame, you can also unlock Torment 1 through Torment 4 difficulties as well. To give an idea of what the difficulty will feel like, one of the developers said that Penitent will feel like World Tier 2, but the enemies are 45 levels above you. So it may be a little tough to run Penitent difficulty from the very beginning of a new season with no gear or anything, but if you're leveling in alt and you have some solid starter gear, then it should be doable. By the way, I'm totally going to start Penitent every single time, no matter what. I may suffer, but it's going to happen. The Pit of the Artificers is being reworked through all of this to be the backbone of the new difficulty system. Its maximum tier is now 100 instead of the 200 from before, though they said the difficulty will not really be changing at maximum tier, so each individual tier will actually be harder than before. You have to be level 60 to access the pit, and each difficulty is tied into various breakpoints of tiers within the pit. Like I said, normal through penitent are available for you to pick between from level 1, but if you want to unlock torment difficulties, you have to reach these breakpoints. Torment 1 unlocks at pit tier 20, Torment 2 at 35, Torment 3 at 50, and Torment 4 at 65. Items in general are getting another round of iteration. Sacred items no longer exist, and items will no longer be guaranteed to be ancestral at any point. Ancestral items only drop in Torment difficulty, and they will be much more rare than before. They'll also be much more powerful than non-ancestral items. At level 60, all normal items will drop with 750 item power, while ancestral items will have 800. They'll also have a guaranteed greater affix and stronger versions of legendary aspects than you can find on the normal items. As if that wasn't enough, normal items with up to 750 item power can only have 1 tempered affix and 4 levels of masterworking, while ancestral items can still have 2 tempering affixes and 12 levels of masterworking like current items do. So if you want to have the full power of your build available, you're really going to have to chase down the ancestral versions of all your gear. Moving on to glyphs, they are no longer tied to nightmare dungeons, instead they'll be tied to the pit in Vessel of Hatred. Additionally, now they work almost exactly like legendary gems in Diablo 3, making this whole pit system look a lot more like greater rifts. For those who don't know what that means, when you finish a run of the pit in Vessel of Hatred, instead of adding XP to whatever glyphs you want to level up, you'll now have a couple of chances to increase the levels of your glyphs. The chance of success will be based on what level your glyph is compared to which tier of the pit you completed. Glyphs will level much faster if you complete pit runs at much higher tier than the glyphs level, so if you run a tier 40 pit encounter and try to level up a level 1 glyph at the end, you'll be guaranteed to succeed, and it will actually gain bonus levels due to the disparity between the glyph level and the pit tier. The new glyphs will max out at level 100 instead of level 21, they'll get an extra radius upgrade at level 46, and with all those extra levels, they'll be giving much more power than they did before. Now for probably the biggest announcement of all, Runewords are being added to the game. I had no idea what Runewords were before today, but in Diablo 4 they're basically socketable items that let you make custom spells. A runeword is made up of a rune of ritual and a rune of invocation socketed in the same item. A rune of ritual sets a condition that you must fulfill. When you fulfill that condition, you gain a set amount of a new resource called offering. A rune of invocation has a set offering cost and an effect that will trigger when you reach or exceed that amount of offering. Some runes even get bonuses for exceeding the offering costs by certain amounts. They showed off lots of crazy different effects available in the Runeword system today, but perhaps the most interesting of those was the ability to use skills from other classes. Each class has 2 skills that can be obtained by other classes through the Runeword system, so there's bound to be some crazy combinations coming out of that when the expansion releases. You can only have 2 Runewords at a time, and you have to own Vessel of Hatred to access them, but it's looking like it'll be a very powerful system nonetheless. Finally, there were several quality of life changes announced, so I'm just going to rapid fire through them real quick. In Vessel of Hatred, we're getting 1 extra stash tab and 2 new inventory tabs. One inventory tab is for dungeon keys, and the other tab is for socketable items like runewords and gems. My personal favorite change is that you now get to pick which town your town portal sends you to. Normal monsters can no longer remove all control of your character with their crowd control abilities. Stuns from normal monsters are being downgraded to slows, knockdowns, knockbacks, etc. Monsters that previously had long death animations now die instantly, so you don't have to wait for those darn bug spawners to finish dying before they send the flies at you, or the spider dudes, or whatever. Dungeon midpoint events are now always just packs of monsters instead of the little click the lever encounters or whatever else they had. Lastly, the level up notification will now tell you how many points you have available to spend when it pops up. So there you have it. That's a quick rundown of the broad changes coming to the game when Vessel of Hatred launches in early October. They still have yet to announce the details of Season 6 that'll be coming out at the same time, so there'll probably be another Campfire chat about it between now and then. Have no fear though, I will make a video about it when it comes around too. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. Also, don't forget to check the blog post in the description if you wanted to see the specific changes to class balance. Lastly, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.